So please, Vaibhav, please introduce yourself.
Sir, as you know, my name is VAIBHAV Anand Sharma. I was born in 1996 in the city of Moradabad. I did my education from here, the schooling, and after that in 2013, I went to JP Institute, Noida, and I pursued electronics and communication engineering, which completed in 2017. And sir, after that, I went ahead in Mumbai and I worked for a firm called Zycus Infotech in the role of business development executive. And so since 2019 April, I'm preparing for this exams.
So why did you leave your job?
So I had a genuine understanding of civil services. I will not call it understanding, a kind of craving, which was a nuanced attraction towards it, which later became a calculative choice. And I wanted to go ahead and prepare for civil services for a long-term orientation in my career. So that's all.
So what do you feel? Do engineers serve the society less than a civil servant?
Sir, I don't think so. Every domain has its own specialization and every domain has its own role to play in the society. And there is no real comparison that can be drawn as to which segment of society serves the society more, sir.
So what do you feel? What are the qualities in a civil servant which you think make them more useful and fruitful for society?
Sir, I believe that the most important quality is the ability to get different minds work on a project together. And it's the ability of managing the human resources, which is most important, I think, sir.
Don't you do that as an engineer as well?
Sir, I think anybody who manages a team, who manages a project, has to do that, sir.
Do you know that in India there are 16 lakh seats of engineers, while the country needs only 6 lakhs. There is a surplus of engineers. So that is why it is now being said that BTech is the new BA. Everyone is doing BTech. So don't you feel that resources of the country is being wasted or perhaps misutilized?
So I think so that when we say that there are a lot of engineers that are being created, I beg to differ with this argument a little bit, sir. I think that the quality of engineers that are being created are not that top notch. We definitely have engineering graduates, but I don't think so we have many engineers that we need. We lack in cybersecurity experts, artificial intelligence experts. So that is what I think, sir. And regarding the second part of your question, that the resources are being wasted, so that I agree to it. That we need a better quality education, better industry academia aligning, so that our engineers are more industry ready. So in that front, yes, sir, I would agree. Unfortunately, our resources to an extent are being wasted, sir.
A recent study by the CII says that only 51% of the engineers produced in the country are employable. What do you say to this?
So it's a very unfortunate statistics, and it also indicates to the fact that we have to work upon our demographic dividend to actually give us some real dividends in economic and social terms, sir. So the issue needs multifaceted approach. The first being that we need to align the curriculum of engineering more towards what is required in the industry. And we need to update not just the professional engineering degrees, but also the information technology institutes that work at the grassroots level. And sir, we also need to have a global perspective when it comes to our engineering degrees, sir.
What do you mean by that?
So there are various aspects of our syllabus which are not in line with the top-notch cutting-edge technology that is required in the world, sir. For example, if we are doing an engineering degree in atomic sciences, there are hardly any colleges in India that have their own simulated nuclear reactors, but which is a very common sight in foreign universities. So I think, sir, this is something we need to look forward to if we want to create good engineers, not just in IITs, but in every other engineering college that is there in any corner of our country, sir.
So where are you presently based, Vaibhav?
Sir, it's a city called Muradabad, sir, the western Uttar Pradesh area.
So what is Moradabad known for?
So Muradabad is known for its brass industry. It's called the brass capital of India, sir. And in terms of cuisines, it is also famous for Muradabadi dal, and that's pretty much it, sir.
So is the brass of Moradabad, does it carry a GI tag?
Sir, I don't think so, sir. It doesn't carry GI tag as of now, but I can be totally wrong on this front. But as far as my limited awareness goes, it is not carrying a GI tag, sir.
Okay, moving to another subject. We keep on talking about terrorism. We have seen that generally terrorism is on the decline all over the world. But a couple of weeks back, a very unfortunate incident took place in Kashmir, where during interrogation, 3 young boys were killed. Do you think that counter-terrorist measures necessarily involve crushing of human rights?
So, when it comes to counter-terrorism measures, especially in a situation like Kashmir, which is wherein the terrorism is happening in between our own people, sir. There are hybrid terrorists that are being created, which are being recruited from our own citizens, sir. So definitely there will be certain measures that will not align to the highest standards of human rights and freedom of speech, sir. That is an unfortunate reality. However, sir, it should not come to the point that there is a deliberate crushing of human rights, and there has to be an extreme caution that has to be laid at all the levels of army and bureaucracy, wherein we have to understand who is a citizen and who is a terrorist. And until the guilt is proved beyond doubt, there should be extreme care laid to protect the human rights and the freedom, everything that is a citizen expecting from its citizenship, sir.
But do you think that the law enforcement agencies have that much of luxury of time to distinguish between a citizen and a terrorist?
Sir, I definitely understand that there are some practical realities which do not necessarily align with the theoretical standards. However, sir, if the military is sensitized and there are specific campaigns and training modules with the Jawans and with the officers of military, I think there can be also along with the use of artificial intelligence, surveillance, etc., sir. I think there can be credible information to at least broadly dissociate a citizen from a terrorist, sir.
Okay. Yes, Vijayji, please, can you take over?
Yeah. Vaibhav, you
Yes,
were mentioning about simulated nuclear reactors, right?
yes.
What do you think is the future of nuclear energy in India?
So, as far as I am aware, sir, we are looking forward to increase our nuclear power generation from 2% currently to around 10% in the next 10 years. I'm not very sure about the timeline, sir, but that is what we are looking forward to. And as far as the future is concerned, sir, we are looking at small nuclear reactors to avoid nuclear disasters like the one we saw, unfortunately, in Japan. Because the small nuclear reactors are more in a situation to be controlled if anything goes wrong, sir.
So now these new proposed nuclear reactors, they'll be fission reactors or fusion reactors?
So I am yet to study deeply on that, but I think they are. If you allow me, sir, I can make a guess here because I
Yeah,
read
yeah,
it.
go ahead, go ahead.
Sir, I think the fusion reactors are yet just theoretical in India. It is the Fisher reactor, if I'm not wrong, that is practically available.
Okay. Now you tell me there was a time in history when Allahabad, you are from Allahabad, right?
No, sir. I'm from Muradabad, sir.
Okay, Muradabad. Okay, then leave about it. Uh, of late, there is a lot of talk about terrorism and its linkage to religion. Do you think that terrorism has nexus with the religion in any form?
So, sir, as far as the core understanding of terrorism is concerned, sir, it does not have a religion, sir. It can have an ideology, but not necessarily religion. But definitely, sir, when it comes to the ideology that runs behind terrorism, unfortunately, sometimes it can be religion backed.
That ideology is religion specific.
Sir, some,
If I make a statement that monotheist religions have believed always in extreme degree of violence, of which terrorism is a form, do you agree with me or not, and why?
sir, from the practical manifestations of religion in the form of terrorism, unfortunately, the examples have been as such that we have seen only or primarily monotheistic religions practicing it. But, sir, we have recently also seen a form of terrorism in Myanmar, which is a Buddhist country, sir, and it practically does not believe in any god. So that also was capable of fueling terrorism, sir. And in the past, if I am not wrong, I think Christianity also has led to terrorism because despite being the monotheistic religion, there were different sects in it, and those sects were practicing terrorism against each other. So, sir, I think that there are a lot of forces that come into play, economic, social, political, etc., which actually realize or manifest or transform any ideology into terrorism, sir.
Okay, final question from my side. Uh, in the arena of cyber security, you mentioned about it. Where is India placed, and what is the future, placement for India in that field?
Sir. Sir, if I'm not wrong, currently India is lacking around 70% of its cybersecurity workforce, which is required. And that is the current standard. And sir, apart from the workforce point of view, if we look at the kind of gadgets that are being used in India, the mobile phones, the computers, they are not top notch. Most of the times, they are the inferior quality mobile phones, which are very prone to the cybersecurity threats. Most of the times, the components I read in the newspaper articles that they are smuggled from Nepal via China. So these components are very valuable to cybersecurity attacks. So that is what I think, sir, is the current position of India when it comes to its vulnerability to cybersecurity. And sir, as far as future is concerned, I think that one area that crucially determines how well we are going to be in our cybersecurity initiatives is the artificial intelligence sector, sir. It is going to determine to a great extent our cybersecurity deterrence value. And how well we do in that domain will critically determine how are we going to fare in our cybersecurity initiatives, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon, Weber.
Good afternoon, sir.
You come from the state of Uttar Pradesh.
Yes.
Now, apart from many things in the recent past, Uttar Pradesh has been in news for what's called bulldozer justice and encounters. What is your personal opinion about these things? That is bulldozer justice and encounters.
So coming to bulldozer justice, sir, the popular perception that exists in it is that there are certain political realities and vote bank politics because of which to create a kind of impact in the minds of voters, the bulldozer or the muscle politics is being done. But sir, there is also a government's argument, which also I consider, in my opinion, that many a times there are a lot of encroachments in Uttar Pradesh, sir, along river banks and along the public properties, and which even after giving proper notices, because of some muscle men and the feudalistic tendencies in our society, they are not being vacated. And because of that, it comes to the point that the administration has to take the step of forcefully demolishing those structures. So I think, sir, there are both the sides of the argument here.
But what about administration choosing, pick and choosing? They are not demolishing the number of structures which are illegal. They are picking one, picking second there and demolishing it. Do you think that is justified?
Sir, if that is the case, I cannot agree with it, sir. I have to accept that I do not know the exact examples wherein bulldozer politics have occurred. So forming a very consolidated opinion on the issue is a little difficult for me right now. But if I just think about it, that the administration is picking sides, and demolishing structures as per its own sectarian considerations, then as a person, sir, I cannot accept it.
Okay, what about encounters?
So if they are fake encounters, which is unfortunately the case, as Supreme Court has also opined in the case of Northeastern India, similar cases would have happened in Uttar Pradesh as well, then sir, fake encounters cannot be justified in a democracy because we rest on rule of law and there is a judiciary to take care of the procedures. However, sir, in many situations, there may be circumstances on the practical realities that the police officers faced with their inferior rifles, when they are facing to the criminals who have much better ammunition, many a times the police officers might not be in a situation to open fire or fire in the air or shoot at the leg. Many a times it may happen that if we look into the practical realities, the situations are much different and there was no choice but for encounter. But when it comes to fake encounters, sir, there cannot be no justification for it, sir.
Okay. Recently, government of India have passed some laws, criminal laws. They will come into operation shortly. The manner in which these legislations were passed in the parliament, will you think that is justified, or that's not proper way of passing such important legislations?
So, when it comes to passing legislations, there are certain crucial pillars to it. Number one is a proper debate in the parliament. And second is a proper public consultation when it comes to laws that can have wider social implications. And third is, sir, minimizing the delegative legislation so that the ambiguities on laws is minimized, sir. Because many a times we have seen that laws are discussed in the parliament and in every second clause it is written to be prescribed later. So, sir, it creates a kind of ambiguity in the minds of civil society, which many a times spiral into social upheavals, sir. That is what I think, sir.
What about these laws, the manner in which they were passed? Do you agree with that? That's a proper way.
Sir, currently the opposition strength in the parliament is not there, sir. Most of the opposition MPs are suspended. So, as a citizen, I would say that the parliament right now is not in the perfect shape as our constitution envisaged to pass laws. So, this is one aspect which I think as a citizen should be addressed uh, as soon as possible.
Okay, you are electronics and communication engineer. Recently, satellite internet spectrum, the government has decided to allocate it. Do you know the manner in it's being allocated?
So, from my initial understanding of the telecommunications bill, I found that there will be auctioning of the telecom spectrum as well as administrative allocation for specific purposes. So, sir, uses which pertain to the national security of India, etc., there the administrative allocation of spectrum will be done. Otherwise, the transparent practice of auction is going to be practiced, sir.
I'm asking in particular, specifically, for satellite internet spectrum.
Sir, I'm not really aware of it, sir.
Better read it.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Vaibhav.
Thank you, sir.
Sandeepji, are you around? Well, in that case, Paresh, can you take over?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Sorry, Sandeepji, then
Hi.
please.
I was listening intently to Vaibhav.
No problem.
Vaibhav, tell me, what is the role of International Monetary Fund in India?
So, IMF, the one role that comes into my mind, sir, is that it gives reports. It gives reports. It gives its own assessment of where our
Okay.
economy is heading
Okay.
and what can be the worst case scenarios and what can be the good case scenarios. This is what I think of, sir.
And does it give loans also?
So, yes, I think it gives, and there are facilities like special drawing rights and other mechanisms with which we can do it.
Okay. What is the major, point about the Supreme Court judgment on Article 370 recently?
So the major point is that Supreme Court has outlined that Kashmir is indeed a sovereign part, a part of sovereign India,
Okay.
and there can be no question of sub-sovereignties within the Indian Union.
Okay.
And they have also re-emphasized on the fact that the clause was indeed temporary in nature, which was intended to well align the admission of Jammu Kashmir into India and not provide any kind of future sovereignty to Jammu and
Okay.
Kashmir.
Now, are you aware of Ayush?
Ayush, yes, sir. A little bit, not to
Okay.
the extent that should be.
What is it?
Sir, Ayush refers to a stream of various medicines which are usually traditional in nature.
Okay. Like your own father has been practicing also.
Yes, sir, homeopathy.
So why is homeopathy not been so popular as allopathy? It
Yeah.
belongs to our own country. I mean, people are practicing homeopathy.
Yes, sir. Sir,
And
sir, one reason that I've heard of in my discussions, casual discussions with my father, sir, is
yes.
that there is a lacking standardization of homeopathic medicines, sir. That
Okay.
is reason number one. And there is also another reason is, sir, that there are less number of researches, less number of randomized controlled trials, double-blind procedures that should be done to establish the credibility of homeopathy as a good medicine system.
Okay.
These are the
Now
two major.
you've done signals and systems in your BTech.
Yes, sir. It was one of my subjects.
Okay. Are you aware about the signaling system of Indian Railways? How does a train move on the systems? Is there one system or more than one?
I apologize, sir. This is something I should read. I don't know, sir.
Okay, 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 okay. So now you have been writing about and I think debating about the Ebola virus outbreak also,
Yes, sir.
which is the basin for Ebola. Is
So
it India, Australia, or
so where did it start? Primarily occur? Is that
yeah?
what you're
Where
referring?
is it primarily, predominantly? Affected countries.
Sir, it was the African countries
Okay,
and primarily Central African countries, sir.
and what does it do? Like cancer does something. AIDS thing. What does Ebola virus lead to?
So, as far as the symptoms of Ebola is concerned, sir,
Mhm,
they were similar to nausea and the regular flu viruses, and it
mhm,
also affected the cattle of farmers in Africa. So it was a zoonotic virus, sir.
mhm. Okay. Uh, you are fond of trekking, moderate.
Yes, sir.
Tell me about your favorite trek you've taken to a place.
So there is a trek in Himachal Pradesh
Mhm.
called Triund.
Okay.
So it starts from Dharamshala, the seat of our own Dalai Lama,
Mhm.
and from there we take the trek and to the Triund Peak. And this is one trek that I enjoy the most. It has minimal technical terrains. It is a straightforward trek, and that
Mhm.
is why I enjoy it the most.
Okay. Now you said something about our own Dalai Lama. What
Yes.
makes you think he's the our own Dalai Lama and not a Tibetan?
Sir, I apologize. I got a little emotional on that front because I feel that the ideology and the views that he present, they are very much our own. They are very much in line with the Indic civilization. He
Mhm,
talks about inclusive existence of humanity, and
mhm.
that is why, sir, I feel that he's our own.
Okay.
However, he should be having his rights and fair share of stay in Tibet. That is
Mhm.
what I think.
Do you think that will the Tibet as a homeland for the Tibetans will ever come about?
Sir, as a practical reality and the kind of assertions China is making, I don't think it will ever be a reality. And I also read that they are also coming up with a second line of leadership for Dalai Lama in China itself, which aligns with the Chinese idea of nationalism. So I don't think, sir, that the conventional sense that we understand Dalai Lama, he will not be getting a place. I unfortunately think so, sir.
Okay. What are we doing to contain the Chinese movements into the South China Sea? Does India have a policy from the Navy side?
So not that I'm aware of, sir. For South China Sea, I don't think so. We have a policy, but I'm not aware.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Paresh ji?
Yeah. Good evening, Vaibhav.
Good evening, sir.
As I see in your DF that you have set up a small club when you were in the school or college, People Environment Club. What
Yes.
were the objectives of this club and what activities you have taken up?
So initially we started this club to clear the garbage around our college, sir, because we used to eat outside our college and there was a lot of garbage. So me and my friends assembled, and that's how our environment club took birth. But later, sir, since there were a lot of construction activities going on, as normal college students who had naive understanding of environment, we started planting trees. So I would love to mention that there are a lot of trees in our own college that are because of our environment club. And then, sir, we also started talking to the nearby colony residents on Sundays, aligning with the nearby NGOs, an NGO named Umeed, Drop for Hope. And we also talked to them and the residential welfare associations of those colonies to plant more trees and release less garbage, use less plastic. And these were our primary basic activities, sir.
Have you ever seen the India State of Forest report, which is being published by the Forest Survey of India, Dehradun?
Sir, I've seen it, but the facts are not at the top of my mind. But I remember the basic idea of the report, sir.
Okay, what is the basic impressions about after seeing those reports?
So what I remember is that the very dense forest in India is declining, and the moderately dense forests are increasing because of the fact the very dense forests, when the trees reduce, they become moderately dense forests. So, sir, the statistics look a little bright because it shows that our forest cover is increasing. But indeed, our very dense forest cover is decreasing, which is a concerning trend.
Yeah, that's a real issue, sir. Can something be done about it? Is government of India or state governments, are they really serious about protecting the very dense or even for that matter, moderately dense forest? Because this moderately dense forest also decline, they will go into the open category.
Yes.
Is that not happening? I think, say, what's happening? The forest cover plus tree cover, they are being combined in the statistics to give a feel-good factor.
Yes, sir.
And so that is what is not desirable. Anyway, say, you also mentioned that you have been to trek in Himachal, but anywhere else have you been to for trekking? Say Tamil Nadu or the Uttarakhand, the
Yes,
highest
sir.
peak which you have trekked to?
Sir, my highest peak was the Nanda Devi Base Camp trek, which I did in last December, sir. It is in Munsiari, Uttarakhand, sir.
Okay. Say 2013, we had seen the floods in Kedarnath, and
Yes.
that kind of thing is happening elsewhere in Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh. What do you think what could be the reason behind this kind of disasters?
So apart from the macro reason of climate change and global warming, there are certain micro reasons also. For example, unsustainable tourism, sir. So if we sustain our tourism, for example, in Kedarnath, also the experts had opined that it was because of the intensity of tourists that the Chorabari glacier had melted. So, sir, I think we need to control and better organize our tourism, and that is what we can do, sir.
You have been to which national park of UP?
So I had plans for Pilibhit National Park, which had certain areas in Uttar Pradesh also, but I have not been to it, sir. Although I have passed from it. There is a road that goes from inside that park. I have rode on it, but I have not been into that park, sir.
Okay. Never been to any wildlife sanctuary also?
Sir, I have been to, but not in Uttar Pradesh, sir. Where I
Actually,
live, sir,
not in Uttar.
Uttarakhand is really.
So near to sanctuaries and national parks in UP, but not been to it. Anyway, can you tell me the difference between the wildlife sanctuary and a national park?
So, if I'm not mistaken, in the Wildlife Protection Act, the national parks are in Schedule 2 and the wildlife sanctuaries are in Schedule 4, although I can be totally wrong on that front. But there are also certain differences when it comes to protection offered in the national park and the wildlife sanctuary. So in the wildlife sanctuaries, generally there are no boundaries and there is no restricted movement of citizens. Whereas in national park, usually we will find a gate, we'll find a boundary, and there is greater degree of control over human activities.
So it's not gate and all that things. That's not a big difference. Difference is the what activities can be taken up in the sanctuary and what cannot be taken up in the national park. That makes all the difference. National parks are accorded highest level of protection. That means there should be no disturbance of any kind, no interference from human beings or cattle beings. But to what extent we are effective, that's a different issue. So that's a major difference. Okay, you said, say, Muradabad. You come from Muradabad. Muradabad is known for brass work. So what is the second name given to Muradabad?
So it's in Hindi called Pital Lagri, sir.
Yeah. So what is the say level of say earnings from this particular handicraft brass ware? I think it's not only supplied to the entire country, but it goes outside the country also. Any idea about how much of foreign exchange it's earning?
Sir, I'm not exactly aware of the statistics, sir.
I think so. Better equip yourself with the knowledge of your own town, their problems, and what can be done.
Yes.
All the best to you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Vaibhav. I think the interview is over. You can now
Thank
leave
you,
for
sir.
a couple of minutes. We'll call you back for your feedback.
Okay.
Right?
Thank you.
You can leave now. Thanks a lot. Welcome back, Vaibhav. You can hear us?
Yes, sir, I can hear you, sir.
So, Vaibhav, how do you feel about the interview?
Sir, I think that I was able to talk to you, and this is what I did not expect, that I will be able to answer properly, speak properly. So I was happy that I could do that. Secondly, sir, that I should have been more aware about some reports, because I've mentioned People Environment Club. So forest report, they have to be on my tips. Awareness around Muradabad was lacking, sir, primarily because I've yet not started my DAF preparation as such. So that is what I think, sir.
Is this the first mock that you have appeared for?
Yes, sir, very first mock, sir.
And when is the interview, final interview?
So it's after 16 February. It's in the second phase. The date has not yet come.
So you have all the time in the world. So, Vaibhav, according to us, you are one of the finest candidates that we have interviewed up till now. You have done very well. And you are the only candidate actually who has come dressed up for an interview. Normally, people tend to take mocks very non-seriously and casually. You have taken it seriously, and that itself is a very positive thing. We find you that you are very balanced, you are very articulate, you're not short of words, you have got good control over the language, and your response is also very measured and balanced.
Okay.
Now, there are couple of suggestions that I would like to give you. You look too serious.
Okay.
You can relax and smile at times. So that will give an impression that you are at comfort. Otherwise, looking very tense, in spite of the fact that you are performing excellently. And as there's no reason whatsoever why you should be so stressed, you're looking stressed. We would like you to smile a little bit more, not laugh, but smile. And that would give a very good impression of your personality to the interview board. The second thing is that I found you evasive on two issues. One was the issue about bulldozer justice, and the second was about encounters. You tried to be too politically correct. See, one thing is very clear, that a bureaucrat has got only one commitment, and that is to the Constitution and to law. Whatever the politician may like to do or not like to do, but your job is to see that the Constitution is upheld. You must appear to be absolutely clear on this point, that anything done against law or Constitution is not acceptable. You cannot say that ye bhi ho sakta tha, wo bhi ho sakta hai, ye bhi ho sakta hai. That won't do. That would mean that you don't have opinions. Your opinion has got to be very clear that this is constitutionally wrong, except in these situations. Like you said, demolitions. Why should only some people be demolished and not the others? How many rich people have been, the buildings of how many rich people have been demolished in your state of Uttar Pradesh? Can you name a single one? Demolitions all over the country take place only against poor people and against people generally of particular caste in particular communities. We ought to be very clear and be honest about it. Don't try to be too politically correct. Similarly, I think that your answer about encounters also was a bit wishy-washy. Encounters can be justified only in case of self-defense and nothing else. So try to be firm on certain matters. Your answer to terrorist issues that were raised by Mr. Vijay Kumar was excellent when you talked about monotheism and the polytheistic cults also practicing terrorism. That was an excellent answer. You carried yourself very well in that one. I personally feel that you are one of our very fine candidates, and if you have done well in your written examination, you should definitely be very high in the list. If there's something that you want to ask us, please feel free to do so.
So I was about to ask that when it comes to preparing for my city, my state, so where should I draw the boundary? Because I was just delaying this process. I was more focused on current affairs, and I was skipping the boat when it comes to preparing my city, my Uttar Pradesh state. So where to draw the boundary, sir?
There is no boundary because of the simple reason that interview is free flowing. Because you're one of the better candidates, therefore the board members might like to probe deeper. The better candidates actually are more under threat because they are the ones whom the board tries to probe more. Your knowledge, your depth would be measured by the board. One cannot say that you should look at this in UP, about Moradabad. Just know the basics. The more important things, especially things which have been lately in news. If there's anything that has been in news, you must know about it.
Okay, sir.
Otherwise,
Sure.
any subject can be asked, and sky is the limit.
Okay, sir.
Please, other members of the board, if you have anything to advise, Vaibhav.
I think, sir, you have summed it up well.
Good, Vaibhav. Our wishes are with you, but we would like to see you smile before you leave.
Sure, sir.
Good.
Thank you for your time, board members.
Good.
Thank you.
Good.
एक बार मुस्कुरा दो.
आप मुरादाबाद के किस स्कूल में गए थे, वैभव?
The Delhi Public School, sir.
DPS?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank
You will leave.
All the best.
हाँ, जानवी जी, और बताइए आगे क्या है?